Okay, hey guys, it's Banang, and
Hey guys,
with me today is the new Grandmaster, DemmiRemmi.
that's right. How's it
All
going?
right, and we didn't get to finish our reviews on all the new cards from Bloodborne, so we thought we're gonna do it the other way round. Now that we have seen those cards for a few for a few days, 28 days more or less, we want to see how those cards have affected the game, how they changed the meta, or if they changed the meta, and we want to go over all the factions, and based on those cards, yeah, tell you the changes we have perceived for constructed, for tournament, and a little bit for gauntlet too. So have a start, Demi Remy. What do you think about the Lionel cards?
All right, let's start with the liner cards. Out of the liner cards, pretty much Scintilla and Trinity Oath have both been super popular,
Hmm.
and I've seen a lot of play. Basically, those two cards have enabled Ziran now, so Ziran is pretty, at least like S rank or like tier 1 general now, for sure,
Really? Okay.
and constructed. And you can play two versions. Like you can play a more tempo version,
Uh-huh.
which Alpha Century plays, and he won. The duel is open yesterday with that list, so
Ah,
it's kind of like Tempo RG and just Zeron, right?
okay.
That's one version, and then the other version is like a more controlled version that usually has Meltdown as a win condition.
I think I have seen that. Yeah, I've seen that in a tournament too.
Yeah, and basically, both Scintilla and Trinity Oath really enabled Zeron now, which is great.
That's
Uh,
actually, I'm a little bit surprised to hear that,
mhm.
because looking at those cards, I don't think of, I wouldn't have thought that in the first moment. I wouldn't have read the effects and said, oh my god, this enables Zeran. What
Yeah.
is the reason Zeran got so much better because of these cards?
Um, Well, first of all, Trinity Oath is kind of obvious. Zera never had a good way of drawing cards, so before you had to rely on the neutral draw cards, right? Or liner in
Hmm.
general. So you had to have a Spelljammer or a
Or
Sojourner
Kian, yeah.
or Alkian, yeah. But those cards, like, I think they worked in Tempo Argian,
Uh-huh.
because you always wanted to have minions.
Yes.
But I think they never were great in Zeran. And well,
Mm,
to be really honest, not a lot of people were playing Zeran before the patch, right?
not
Um,
worth it.
so I think that Trinity Oath made a huge difference now. And then Scintilla as well. I mean, it's a great body to have on the board. It's like content. It's like a uh, constant threat, right? Like you
Hmm.
have to deal with it, and then you have to realize that it kind of, it triggers the healing effects twice, right? So you heal something with your Bloodborne spell, that's like one proc, then you get the healing from Scintilla, which is another proc.
It synergizes with all the other healing effects like
Exactly,
Sunriser and
exactly.
whatever.
Sunriser, and
Yeah.
especially the guy that busts the attack of the general uh,
Oh,
whenever anything is healed.
yeah, yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
I forgot the name, but you get one attack like
yeah,
indefinitely until dispelled.
yep.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's true. That's true.
those things just made Zeron really good. But at the
Mhm.
same time, both Scintilla and Trinity Oath can also be played in Argian.
Mhm.
Like I've been playing pretty much only Tempo Argian since the expansion, and like
Mhm.
I run 3 Trinity Oaths as well, because that again allows me to not play those neutral draw minions, and I can play other stuff instead of like needing to have Sojourners and Elkians.
Yeah,
Um,
that's kind of interesting because in Gauntlet, I try not to rely on the Scintilla too much. I mean, it's a nice
mhm.
card to have, but it's like a 3 drop, and 3 drops in Gauntlet generally not that nice. And epic cards, yeah, it's not something
Yeah,
you can rely. And
yeah,
I found actually Draining Wave and Prison Barriers to be
mhm.
the best cards for me in Gauntlet, at least, because I play lots of
Yeah,
Argion, and the tempo you gain with the wave and the value you gain with the barrier is just really, really good.
yeah, and I think Both Draining Wave and Prison Barrier can work in constructed. Like I've definitely seen Zeron players play Draining Wave. It's
Oh,
quite common actually.
okay.
Just because just a good spell, and as Zeron like you it's okay to take damage, right? Because you have so much
Mm,
healing in
true.
the deck that it's 4 damage is all right. And like with it could also work with Argent, but just more risky because you like I don't play any heal, for example, except Trinity Oath in my list, right? So
Hmm.
taking that 4 damage when you're facing a lot of other like aggressive lists is quite dangerous for sure. Um, I've tried Prison Barrier a bit. It can be quite good, like if you put on a lion or something. Um, but it's not amazing. And then for the last two cards, Sunbreaker and Excelsius are both pretty well. They're not played a whole lot.
Yeah, Sunbreaker, I think it's just so difficult to use. It's like
Yeah,
uh, your Bloodborne spell aren't that bad, and replacing it with a very situational spell just doesn't make too much sense, or it's just very
yeah.
situational.
There's
And
just no kind of deck type where Sunbreaker works. Like
yeah,
at least I haven't found it yet.
and
Um,
Excelsius, I think basically everybody uh, expected this card to be just too high of a cost. It's just
yeah.
yeah, the
I mean,
impact is too late.
Excelsius is just what it is, you know.
Mm,
It's a fun legendary, but I've lost. I think I've lost some tournament game to an Excelsius.
really? Oh,
Well, because if you can't finish you can't finish Zero off fast enough,
okay.
and then at 8 mana he plays Excelsior and I don't have an answer.
Uh-huh.
Obviously I just lose the game.
Uh,
But yeah,
I actually never I was never offered Excelsius and Gauntlet, so I can't say anything about
yeah,
that. But I think it's probably at the same strength as a 7 mana Golem, because that Golem
yeah,
kills you just the same. So
yeah. That's true.
all right.
Um,
Any closing words for
um
Lionar?
yeah, maybe yeah, just I think Lionel is still super strong, just like before the patch as well.
Mm,
Just now you can play both Arjun and Zeron, and both Arjun and Zeron are both two really good generals right now.
mm,
You can play different styles with both of them actually. Like you can also play a more like control divine bond version of Arjun, a more control version with Grandmaster Zero, for example. And same with Zeron, you can play both tempo and more controlled versions, which is great.
cool. So Lionar definitely got great cards. Let's
Yeah,
move
for
on
sure.
then
All right,
to
Songhai.
Songhai. Uh, so, do you think it's the same Songhai? Kalios got the lesser played general
Yeah.
got enabled in constructed nowadays, or is it like still not really?
Well, basically, no. Kalios definitely was not enabled by any of those cards.
Hmm.
Um, but the thing is, well, I think I've said that before in other videos, but it's just that Reaver does everything Kalios does better in a way. Like the Bloodborne spell is not good enough for it to be
Hmm.
worth it. But yeah, so Kalios definitely did not get enabled. I actually haven't even gotten back into playing Kalios after the expansion.
Oh, okay,
But I'm planning to start streaming again probably next week with Kalios.
okay.
Um, because now, yeah, I don't have anything to look forward to in the sense that I don't have to like try to get at the top rank and ladder anymore because I've already become a grandmaster. So you don't have to try as hard anymore to like
Yeah,
be
you've
like in
lost all
top
ambitions.
50 exactly. So
Okay.
now I can just play my meme Kalios decks and I'm happy.
Yeah,
Um,
just have fun with the game. That's the most
exactly.
important thing, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
And but at the same time, Reaver. Um, I've seen some people play Ethereal Blades
mm-hmm.
as well as Obscuring Blow. Uh, they both can work. Uh, like, because, well, Ethereal Blades is just, well, you can get a lot of damage out of that, a lot of value, actually, if
Yeah.
you use the 4 attack on Reaver and the 4 attack on the minion.
Yeah,
to
that's
clear something, as well as just a spell, right? That triggers probably something on your board. Um, and obscuring blow is just another good way of removal, or potential removal. Like you could put that on a minion. I'm not even sure what you would put it on.
I think I have seen
um,
a
it's
combo with the Grandmaster. So you place the
yeah,
Grandmaster behind the enemy general and then buff it.
and then obscuring blow it. Yeah, that's actually not
Yeah.
bad. Yeah, I can see that, but I still think that uh, Weaver is still strong. So like we've pretty much seen two versions, or I have seen two versions right now in the meta, which is like kind of standard uh, aggressive Weaver, where you only go up to 4 mana drops with 4 wins, and then you play Heaven's Eclipse, and that's pretty much it. So you
Mm,
have a very low curve, just like a spell Weaver pretty much, with Blood Rage Mask and spells, Katara in a focus, just the usual stuff.
mm.
And then there's the version that Dragal plays, which is like a more control version, which plays Bone Reaper and Spiral Techniques
Okay, that's surprising.
and Twin Strike and stuff like that. So it's more like control heavy in that sense. Um, yeah,
Well, I guess if it works, then it works. Yeah.
exactly. It works. So he's played at a top level, and it works because I think the idea is that you lock down the front with like a Bone Reaper while you keep developing Heartseekers in the back.
Mm,
Um, so yeah, that's kind of the idea. You kind of just slowly kill your opponent, then you have Spiral Techniques, 2 of them, if you have to finish the enemy off. Um, but yeah, but like both those lists were still playable before the expansion, and I still think that both of those versions uh, don't really use any of the new cards.
mm.
So Songhai definitely it wasn't nerfed, but it was nerfed indirectly because
They didn't
a
get
lot of
too much stronger, right?
exactly like a lot of other factions did get a lot of good cards that
Mm.
helped them, whereas Songhai kind of stayed the same.
Well, I guess that's okay. Songhai has been
Yeah,
so
exactly.
strong for such a long time, and then being on, or everybody else being on par is like, that's the dream, right? That's the
Yeah,
balancing dream.
exactly. So
Mm.
I think it's good that they didn't get any
Mm.
crazy cards like the other factions did.
However, in Gauntlet, there is one card
Mm,
which changed the game a lot, which is Geomancer. Like
yeah,
Geomancer is like, it's like a countdown card. You play it, your opponent knows, okay, okay, I gotta finish the game fast, or
yeah,
he just runs away and I'm dead. So Geomancer did change Gauntlet a little bit, but the other cards, well, those buffs were already available, and those minions, well, they don't do too much new things, and the legendary is very iffy, so didn't change too much. But Geomancer definitely made Songhai stronger in Gauntlet,
yeah.
especially Kalios, but Kalios is still not viable in Gauntlet. All right. So the final verdict would be Songhai is still strong. It's just they didn't increase too much in strength compared to
Exactly.
the other factions. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we can't count them out in the grand field, in the grand
And
scheme.
and let's not say Songhai, let's say Weaver is still strong.
Okay, Reva. Okay, okay. Good. Oh man, let's have a look at Vitruvian.
Let's
Let's
have a
all
look at
cry a little bit.
Vitruvian. Yeah.
So let's start with the positive things because I'm sure there are lots of not so positive things to say.
Yeah, well, so I think everyone who has been playing Vitruvian before the patch because they are diehard Vitruvian fans are still playing Vitruvian after the patch.
Okay, yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's still Vitruvian is the worst faction, definitely by far. There are new decks that got enabled, like Zephyr. I've played against some people playing Zephyr. It's not bad actually.
Uh huh.
You can get some good AoEs like with Sage. I've seen some people play like a weird deck where you play Adjudicators, and then you play like Autarch's Gifts and Dominate Will. So you play like those 6 cost, 7 cost mana spells with Adjudicator to get value out of them.
That's
But
interesting, yeah.
yeah, but I think the best Vitruvian deck that is like a more like aggressive mid-range Zerix list that actually can play Grandmaster Noshrak, because Grandmaster Noshrak in itself is a win condition. It has to be removed, and I've actually lost tournament games to Vitruvian players because I just die on their 7 mana turn, because suddenly I'm like, okay, oh, I'm kind of safe, and suddenly I just take a whole lot of damage.
Okay.
So yeah. So yeah, pretty much that. I think Noshrak can see play, decent list. Zephyr can see play in Sage, but like there's nothing in there that actually helped Vitruvian get better.
Vitruvian is duelist's priests. Some feels like they have been kinda iffy, kinda weak since several patches. I think ever since third wish got nerfed, they didn't really.
Now, basically, I'm not sure how long you've been playing Duelist, but pretty much a few months ago, Vitruvian was by far the best faction in game, by far, because Zerix's Bloodborn spell.
Oh yeah, the rush one. Yeah, I remember.
Was spawn the Wind Dervish, which is a 2/2 rush, whereas now it's a 2/2 stationary minion, stationary dervish, and random positioning, which is stupid. So they changed that because Zerix was absolutely broken. Back to that, right? And from then on, he was pretty garbage, to be honest.
It's amazing, changing one little thing.
Just the Bloodborne spell.
Yeah, just makes.
But I'm actually wondering, or I have been wondering that, like with all the buffs to the other factions now, I wonder that if they were to revert that change and give Zerix his rush minion again, his rush dervish, like would he actually be broken? Because I don't think so. I'm sure he would be a really strong general again. But I don't think he would be as broken as he was when he had that Bloodborne spell a couple months ago. Because back then, and even back then, it was like people hadn't really figured out all the possible decks with the other factions yet, I think. So I think it was a kind of like a. I think they nerfed the Bloodborne spell pretty quickly.
It was too rushed of a nerf.
Yeah, so I feel like that if they change it back to that, I'm sure Zerix would be super strong, but not as broken as it was. Like I said a few months ago. So, yeah.
Oh man, I don't even know how to begin, quote unquote, fixing Vitruvian. I just hate playing Vitruvian in Gauntlet. Whenever I see my opponent dropping a ranged minion, I'm just I feel like just conceding on the spot, and I was really disappointed to see no ranged answers in this expansion.
Yeah.
I tried it out in Gauntlet, and it's still the same old problem. The new cards don't really help out. The Autarch's Gift is pretty strong. It's stronger than it looks, because the combinations you can get are actually really nice. But it's you're a little bit stronger in what you were strong before, but it didn't patch your weaknesses. And unlike, for example, what we just talked about with the Ziran, it didn't got enabled due to these cards. So, Oh well. Any more words, or do you want to move on?
No, it's Vitruvian. It's garbage. It's actually it used to be my second favorite faction after Songhai, so I'm still hoping that it will at some point get buffed again. Like just like small changes, like allowing your Bloodborne spell as Zerix to be positioned the way you want it, as well as
That
maybe
would be good
just trying
actually. Yeah.
just trying like maybe a small siphon energy buff again,
Mm.
like either make it like cost 2 mana even so it's global again,
Mm.
or just something, just like I think a few small changes could already help Civics a long way.